Hi everyone, my name is Caitlin Randolph, and I am so excited to be able to share my story with you guys about my journey through my postdoc and my experience with the Arnold Beckman Foundation. I've titled my story here From Mass Spectrometry to Motherhood, Serendipity and Science, because I think that really encompasses everything that's happened in the past 2 to 3 years. So who am I, right? I don't want to just jump into this without giving you a little bit about who I am and what I stand for. Hi, I'm Caitlin. I did my PhD at Purdue University under the direction of Scott McCluskey. I come from a very fundamental analytical chemistry background. I study lipids, which are fats. So you might not think about fats and having their roles in the brain, but they have very, very interesting roles in the brain. So it turns out that stuff you're trying to avoid on your plate is absolutely essential inside your head. So, like I said, I started out as an analytical chemist. Essentially, that's just a person that gets excited about instruments, gadgets, data, answering the question of what is it and how much is there. I've always loved building things and figuring out how the world works, in particular, thinking about how these little bitty molecules like fats and lipids can tell us stories about health and disease. So here's a little picture of me when I joined the McCluskey group back in August of 2016. Ignore the Vanderbilt shirt, it is at Purdue. I just have a thing for collecting college sweatshirts. So what happened next, right? Um, this is really kind of been the overarching theme of everything since COVID for me. Serendipity. My PhD advisor Scott, he always talked about serendipity in science, and I didn't think about much of serendipity outside of science, but it has been such a large driver for my life. Originally, I committed to do a postdoc in Australia to continue work in the lipidomics community. But as we all know, in 2020, we had this thing called COVID, and the global pandemic threw some wrenches in my plan. So when I found out we were staying on this side of the world, I caught wind of the Beckman Postdoctoral Fellowship opportunity, and I knew that this was something that I needed to just shoot my shot with. So, like I said, COVID really kind of turned the entire direction of my career. I had very little intention of staying in West Lafayette, Indiana. And so what did I do? I decided to move across campus and pursue my postdoc in uh, an integrated lab where we work with everything from AI to lipid biology. We work in Alzheimer's, brain, immunology, chemistry. So it's a very, very diverse group of people and ideas. And I have really loved that experience. So this is some information about our lab if you're interested in learning more. It's headed by Dr. Gaurav Chopra, and that's just a little bit about what we do and who we are. So, like I said, when I saw the Beckman Fellowship, I thought, oh, for sure, these are my people. I knew a little bit about Dr. Beckman, and I knew that he didn't just do science. I knew that he made tools that made science possible, and that's something that I really resonated with. It's exactly what I want to do. I want to create tools that helps everybody have a better understanding of the world and to see things in a new way. So, what inspires me ultimately about Dr. Beckman is that his inventions made science accessible, right? It's all about making the invisible visible. I liked the idea and I wanted to carry on that same spirit of building technology that brings lipid biology into focus for everyone. So, what was my grand plan? I was going to create this tiny microfluidic chip. It's a little bitty, basically lab on a chip, smaller than, a flash drive, that could do analysis of individual cells and could tell you what their fat compositions were. So I'm thinking shrink the entire mass spectrometry experiment into something smaller than a post-it note. And plot twist, things don't always go the way you imagine. I think anyone that's been in science or has lived long enough knows that. Turns out squeezing an entire lab into a chip is really hard. Um, that's the beauty of research. Failure isn't the end, right? It's the start of the interesting aspects of research for me. So, what do you do when the plans change is really kind of the the cornerstone of my Beckman Foundation fellowship experience is I learned to be more flexible and to really work with the data and what's being presented. So instead of building the perfect chip, I built a variety of new mass spectrometry workflows that could do the same types of analysis at single cell and near single cell measurements. We're using clever versions of chemistry, automation, but basically we hacked our way to success. So this is me saying that failure is really just an opportunity to learn more, and that has been a invaluable lesson that I've learned during my postdoc experience. So these tools have helped us discover that these tiny fat droplets inside your brain, they're often known as lipid droplets. They're not just storage blobs. In fact, they're metabolic command centers. We like to think of them as the command center of your brain, essentially. So, and when your brain is aging or it develops Alzheimer's disease, these droplets change in dramatic ways. And like I said, we developed a large number of tools and techniques to study the brain and the brain fats. So here's just kind of a snapshot of everything that we accomplished in the short time span of my Beckman Fellowship. And like I said, none of them involved microfluidic technologies, but all of them were centered around the ideas that I originally proposed. They just pivoted a little bit. So while all the science was happening, so was life. During my Beckman Fellowship, I had the unique experience of becoming a mom, not once, but twice. Balancing motherhood and research has taught me grit, it's taught me grace, it's taught me the power of a really good nap schedule. So beyond the bench, I've learned to really be kind to myself, to be gracious with myself, and to always just continue to remind myself that it will be okay and that things will move on in the manner that they're supposed to. So with that, Dr. Beckman has ultimately taught us that innovation doesn't have to be linear, right? It zigs and it zags, and it can still change the world. And ultimately, that's been my journey. It's been flexible, it's been creative, and it's been, quite frankly, chaotic, but always fueled by curiosity. So with that, I'd like to express my sincerest gratitude and thanks to the Arnold Mabel Beckman Foundation for believing in the bold ideas and ultimately the people behind them. Thank you to Dr. Chopra and Purdue University for this amazing opportunity. Without all of you guys, I would never be able to accomplish everything I have. So here's some shameless photos of my kids in and outside of the lab. So I'm just, again, just immensely grateful. Thank you.